was fortunate enough to have the time, because it's not mechanical. You're not only putting in the work, you really need to have a breather as well. You really need to have time to think. It's a process of, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
input, you process, and then there is the output.
Yeah.
You, if you only see, there is only input and it's frantic, there isn't thinking, so the strategy gets muddled up. So you need time as well. But the course is so structured that there is implementation week, which is a breather for us to, you know, catch up with work and stuff. And it's great. There is so many nice things that came out of it. You know, you connect with other people. There will always be a connector. So my enrollment, there are two of my colleagues who helped me. I spoke to friends of hers, and it's all about networking, isn't it? Now I'm converted, you
You're
know. Like,
talk a little bit more about that, Leah, in terms of the format of the program. And you mentioned, like, in those who enrolled with you, so like your cohort, there were different women. What did you most enjoy, or what did you find most impactful about, like, the structure of the program, and how we blended the, you know, group coaching calls with the modules, with the Facebook community? Like, do you want to share a bit about that?
yes, I think it's really well thought and very organized, because you start small, isn't it? And then you build layers and layers and layers and layers. And, you know, for example, when we did the interview module, I wasn't interviewing yet. And I remember thinking, oh my God, will I ever get an interview? But I do remember that. I remember when we had then we had the interview session, and he said, have a look at the interview module as well. And that's when I went back to watch the interview module. So it is so good the way it builds up, because I wasn't a LinkedIn person before. Like, I spent so much more time on Instagram, you know, like reading about celebrities rather than on LinkedIn, which is completely relevant content for what you're trying to achieve and connecting with people. And I think the course is great because it explores the importance of LinkedIn. There is a masterclass on LinkedIn, so that you know exactly how to learn. You learn very well how to navigate LinkedIn. So, and there is this progress in a very controlled manner, maybe, so that you don't get like, oh my god, where I am. You just progress slowly towards the goal at the end, isn't it? And with the coaching, and I think the coaching calls complement this, because is a community, is a time for us to take to ask you our questions, but it's a time where we see where the other girls are also struggling, that you're not struggling alone. Or maybe if you are stuck somewhere, at least one other person will be stuck at the same place as you are. So knowing that human part of it, like that you're not alone, it was really great. I enjoy, I'm a people person, so I like being around people and being able to share this experience. And I think it's great. The structure is great.
The structure of the program is intentional to have that element of, you know, you're on the journey on your own, like individually, as you go through the modules and you dig deep and you do that reflection work, but then we come together in the group coaching so that you can, one, get your questions answered, like you said, but also recognize that you're not alone in the journey. And there's power in that, because there's so many times where, you know, someone would say, oh, you're interested in this, you know, I know somebody, and like connect you with someone, or just hearing somebody articulate how they were feeling. And sometimes you might be feeling the same way, but you didn't know like how to express it, and someone else is able to express it, and you're like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel, but I didn't know how to actually say it out loud, you know. Like, it's so
it was
nice.
great. And I think my cohort was really special, because there are people who started, oh, I'm gonna do this, and at the end they were like, I'm gonna write a book. So
I know.
it was so overwhelming, and you know, and so cool to be sharing, because at the end of the day, you know, all this that's going on in the world is all about community, isn't it? If we are in community, not feeling that you're not on your own is just so good, especially in a in a time like this, there is uncertainty and stuff, and you know that you're not alone. You have that
Yeah.
uncertainty yourself. You don't know where you're going, but you're not alone. There are other people who don't know where they're going either, and and they can help you, as you said, because I had contact with two people through friends of people of my cohort. So that is really good as well. It was amazing.
So good. And I remember certain coaching calls where, we're in the midst of a pandemic, and it would be like, oh, we'd go on at the beginning, right, and be like, how's everyone doing? And everyone's like, oh, it's been a week, like it's crazy. And then, but even in that hour, to be able to kind of forget about all that's going on the outside, and then really zone in and focus on, well, what's actually going on with you, and how do you feel, and how do we push you forward, was really, really powerful. So yeah, I loved it.
It was. Yeah, I'm just realizing now, isn't it? Because we ended on the 8th of July, so it's throughout lockdown.
Literally we started at the beginning of April, and we ran through to July. So it was, like the whole.
It was during lockdown. So, it goes to show what you can achieve during lockdown.
Exactly. Even if, like, when you're watching the news, everything seems doom and gloom, there's still opportunities, there's still possibilities. You've just got to grasp it. Okay, so just to round up then, Leah, if someone is listening to this and they have been considering joining the Career Clarity Academy, or they've been feeling stuck with, like, what do I even do next with my career? Like, what would you say to them?
Call Janine.
2 words, call Janine.
Call Janine immediately. Because I think if you reach that point, if you already reached that point that you really need change, I think talking's a lot easier then, isn't it? Try and find, because there are probably other things out there, but I think the human contact and the connection with you to, and find out if the course is for you. And I think it was really good the way you explain it to me. I still have my notes as well. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know on the other side. In April, we didn't know. We just knew there are some big changes coming up. We didn't know how big they were going to be. Now we're starting to know a little bit more. So I think I would contact you, Janine. I think the conversation with you was the beginning for me, because when we spoke, I felt, no, this is really right for me. And find out whether it's going to be right for them. You're going to learn more about the course and see if it's for you. Because and I just want to say, like, and it's not only about the coaching calls. You are always at the end of the phone. I sometimes, like, I feel a bit embarrassed of how much I bothered you, but there is this relationship as well, this two-way relationship, and how it can be helpful and for us to know there and then that is the right fit for me. And you're always there if you have questions in between coaching calls. There's a Facebook group. There is so much that you don't feel alone, that you are alone in the journey.
Oh, so good. It's so lovely to have you come and share your experience, Leah. I am super pumped about you making so much progress in such a short space of time. So, like, now you are about to start your new role in the next month or so. And so, like, how are you feeling now? So if we were just to say, like, at the beginning, you mentioned that you were, like, a bit fearful about jumping in, you weren't really sure about what the future would look like. Now let's fast forward. Like, what are some of the feelings you have now about moving into a new role?
I am really excited. I feel a bit anxious sometimes, because I want to do really well. I want to learn as fast as possible, and I want to make a good impression, a good first impression. But I am so excited. I've come full circle in such a short period of time, and I am excited about what's going to happen next in my career. I'm just so happy and looking forward to it, because it is new. Everything is going to be new, and new people, a new way of working, because they are not in the office yet. But I am so excited.